Yo, what's good, Laker Nation? Man, listen, I need every single one of you to sit down for this one. Drop everything. I mean it, because what just happened on First Take this morning, less than 12 hours after the Lakers got swept by the Oklahoma City Thunder 4-0 in the second round of the playoffs, is the kind of moment that defines the rest of LeBron James's career, and maybe the rest of this franchise's next decade. I was watching it live, sitting on my couch with my coffee, and I literally had to put the cup down on the table because my hand started shaking. That's how big this was. LeBron James just lit the entire Lakers organization on fire on national television. He named names. He used real numbers. He said things that I genuinely thought I would never hear come out of his mouth. So let me walk you through exactly what just happened, because if you missed it, you missed history. And if you saw it, you're going to want to hear it again, because this changes everything. Hey, what's up everyone? Real quick before we get into everything, that like button is literally what determines if this reaches hundreds or thousands of fans. Takes 1 second, but makes a huge impact on the channel's growth. Just smash that like button right now. It's the easiest thing you can do, but honestly, the biggest way to support this content, every single like pushes this further, so hit it now. So here's the context. The Lakers got eliminated last night in Oklahoma City. Game 4. They lost by 22. Luka Doncic never came back from the knee injury. He watched the entire series in street clothes from the sideline. LeBron played 42 minutes at 41 years old, dropped 28 and 9 and 11, and it still wasn't enough because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 38. Chet Holmgren had 24 and 16 with 7 blocks. And the role players around LeBron, specifically DeAndre Ayton, completely no-showed. DA had 4 points, 4 in an elimination game, on 3 shot attempts in 26 minutes. That's the box score that nobody can hide from. And this morning, with the wound still fresh, with the season officially over, ESPN cleared the entire First Take hour for LeBron James to come on and address what just happened. The interview started normally enough. Stephen A. Smith opened by congratulating LeBron on the season, on carrying the team without Luka, on still being elite at 41, standard stuff. Molly Karam asked about retirement rumors. LeBron deflected with a half smile. Shannon Sharpe gave him the usual love. And then Stephen A. did what Stephen A. does. He went there. He said, and I'm quoting directly, "LeBron, I've been saying all series, DeAndre Ayton has to be removed from that locker room. That man plays with a flagrant lack of urgency. He is poisoning your championship window. What's your response?" And LeBron didn't blink, didn't smile, didn't deflect. He just stared at the camera for a long second, and then his face shifted. You could see it. The jaw clenched, the eyes narrowed, and he said the words that broke the internet. "Stephen A., for once in your life, you're not wrong." Bro, the studio went silent. Shannon Sharpe's eyes went wide. Molly Karam literally leaned back in her chair. I had to rewind it 3 times to make sure I heard it correctly. LeBron James, the man who has spent 23 years protecting teammates, deflecting blame, taking every bullet himself, just publicly co-signed a national criticism of his own starting center less than 24 hours after the season ended. And he wasn't done. Not even close. The dam broke right there. LeBron leaned forward, put his hands together, and started talking in that low, slow, terrifying voice he uses when he's done playing nice. Let me be very clear about something. I love DA as a brother. I'll never disrespect a man personally, but I'm tired of the conversation about championship windows when I have grown men on this team who don't show up in elimination games. 4 points. 4 points, Steven. We're down 20 in the 4th quarter, and my center has 4 points on 3 attempts. You know how many shot attempts I had in my first elimination game in 2007? 24. 24 attempts because I refused to lose without going down swinging. That's what professionals do. That's what people who care about winning do. I literally stood up in my apartment because LeBron just took a flamethrower to DeAndre Ayton's entire career arc on national TV. And the receipts? The receipts are real, Laker Nation. Stephen A. fact-checked it on the spot. LeBron, you're absolutely correct. Ayton averaged 6.8 points and 7.2 rebounds in this series. He had a player option for next season at $8.1 million. You're telling the world right now you don't want him exercising that option. And LeBron, but without hesitation, without softening, said, I'm telling the world that this organization has to make decisions that prioritize winning, period. I'm not the general manager. I'm not Rob Pelinka, but I am a competitor. And I am telling you that what I saw in this series from certain individuals on my roster is not acceptable to me. Make of that what you will. Oh my God. He just basically asked Rob Pelinka to fire DA on live TV, and he wasn't done, because then Molly asked the question that I've been waiting 6 weeks for someone to ask. She asked about the game ball, remember that? Back on March 31st, the night Luka hit 15,000 career points, the night Rui Hachimura hit 5,000, the night LeBron passed another milestone, and what did Rob Pelinka do? He gave the game ball to JJ Redick for his 100th coaching win, not to LeBron, not to Luka, not to Rui. To the coach. And Dave McMenamin from ESPN reported at the time that LeBron saw it as, quote, yet another example of the Lakers taking him for granted. And this morning on national television, Molly asked him about it directly. And this is where I almost spilled my coffee. LeBron took a deep breath, looked at the camera, and said, I've been quiet about that night for 6 weeks because I'm a professional. I didn't want to be a distraction during the playoffs. But since the season is over now, and since y'all are asking, yeah, that night hurt. That night told me everything I needed to know about how this organization sees me. 23 years in this league, 4 championships, the all-time scoring leader, and we're handing out game balls to celebrate coaching milestones on a night when 3 players hit historic statistical marks. That's a choice. Somebody made that choice. And I want to be very clear, I have not forgotten that night. I will never forget that night. Laker Nation. He went there. He genuinely went there. He just publicly attacked Rob Pelinka, the team president and general manager, on the biggest sports show on television. And then he kept going, because once that dam breaks, it doesn't reseal. I've been with this organization for 8 years. I delivered a championship in 2020. I have asked for very little. I have asked for them to put the right pieces around me to compete. And what we've gotten, outside of trading for Luka, which I supported 100%, has been a series of half measures. Half measures. We needed a real backup center this entire season. We didn't get one. We needed a tougher wing defender. We didn't get one. We needed depth that could play in May, not just January. We didn't get that either. And then we're in OKC in Game 4, and my big man has 4 points. He kept coming back to that number. 4 points. 4 points. He said it 5 separate times during the interview, because that's the number that summarizes everything. That's the number that confirms what the entire NBA world has been whispering about for months. DeAndre Ayton is not built for this stage, and LeBron, after holding it in for the entire season, finally said it out loud. The interview went to commercial there, and I thought, okay, maybe somebody in his ear is going to tell him to cool down. Maybe Maverick Carter is going to text him during the break. Maybe Rich Paul is in the studio waving his hands. And when they came back from break, LeBron was even more fired up because he had clearly been thinking during those 3 minutes about what else he wanted to get off his chest. And the first thing out of his mouth was about JJ Redick. Yes, the head coach, LeBron's friend, the guy who got the game ball. Let me say something about JJ. JJ is a brilliant offensive mind. JJ is going to be a really good coach in this league for a long time, but there's a learning curve to being a head coach. There's a learning curve to managing rotations in May when bodies are tired and minds are fragile. And I'll be honest, there were moments in this series where I was on the bench during critical possessions, and I'm looking around going, why am I sitting right now? That's not on JJ as a person. That's on the experience gap, but it cost us. It cost us in this series. Multiple times, and we have to be honest about that as an organization moving forward. I cannot believe he just said that, because remember, JJ Redick was handpicked. The Lakers passed on more experienced candidates to hire JJ, and less than 12 months later, the team's franchise cornerstone is publicly questioning his rotational decisions on national television. That is the kind of fracture that doesn't heal in one offseason. That is going to follow this organization into training camp and beyond, and LeBron wasn't even close to finished. Stephen A then asked the question, the one we've all been afraid to ask. LeBron, your contract is up, June 29th decision. Are you coming back to the Lakers next year? And LeBron paused for what felt like 10 full seconds. He looked at the table, he looked at the camera, he looked at Stephen A, and he said, I don't know. And that's the most honest answer I can give you. I love my teammates. I love this city. My family is rooted here. But basketball decisions have to be basketball decisions. And I have to ask myself, does this organization match my commitment to winning right now? Does the front office prioritize what I prioritize? I'm not sure right now. And I need the summer to figure that out. B-Row, Laker Nation, LeBron James just told the entire world he might leave. On national television. Hours after a sweep. This is not a guy floating retirement rumors anymore. This is a guy with a $52 million player option who is genuinely considering taking that money to another organization. And the way he said it, calm, deliberate, no anger. That's not a negotiating tactic. That's a man who has been pushed past a line. But the part of this interview that hit me the hardest, the part I want every single one of you to focus on, came right at the end. Stephen A. asked LeBron about Luka, about the relationship, about whether the future of this franchise is Luka's franchise now. And this is when LeBron showed the most emotion of the entire morning. His voice softened, his eyes got slightly glassy, and he said, "Luka is the future of this franchise. I want to be very clear about that. Luka and I have a tremendous relationship." The toxic locker room stories from earlier in the season were absolute trash. That was anonymous noise from people who don't know what they're talking about. Luka deserves a championship team built around him, and I genuinely hope this organization gives him that. But whether that includes me or not, I don't know yet, and neither does Luka. We're going to talk this summer as men, as teammates, and we'll see where it goes. That moment broke my heart, Laker Nation. Because that sounds like a goodbye. That sounds like a man preparing the fan base for the possibility that he is not coming back. And it sounds like a man who has genuine respect and love for Luka, but who is no longer willing to compromise on what he needs from a front office to compete for a 5th championship. Before he left the set, LeBron had one final message. He looked into the camera and he said, "To Laker Nation, I love you. I've always loved you. You've been with me through everything. Whatever happens this summer, whatever decision I make, know that I gave this organization everything I had for 8 years. Whatever comes next is going to be a basketball decision, not a personal one, not an emotional one. I owe you the truth, and the truth is that something has to change in El Segundo. Whether that change includes me or not, we'll see." Then he stood up, shook Stephen A's hand, hugged Shannon Sharpe, and walked off set. And I just sat in my apartment in silence for about 10 minutes trying to process everything I just watched. Let me give you my real analysis, because this was not just a vent session. This was a calculated, deliberate message from the greatest player in NBA history to the Lakers front office. Every word was chosen. Every name was named for a reason. LeBron just told Rob Pelinka on national television that he needs to see real moves this offseason or LeBron is gone. He told JJ Redick that the rotation choices have to improve. He told DeAndre Ayton not to pick up that $8.1 million player option because LeBron doesn't want him back. And he told Luka and the world that he genuinely doesn't know if he's coming back. This is the most explosive postseason interview by a Lakers superstar since Kobe Bryant in 2007 demanded a trade. That's the comparison, that's the magnitude, and the parallels are eerie. A future Hall of Famer at the tail end of his career, frustrated by front office decisions, publicly demanding accountability. Kobe didn't get traded that summer. He got new pieces. He got a contender rebuilt around him. He won championships in 2009 and 2010. Is Rob Pelinka about to have his Mitch Kupchak moment? Is the front office about to spend the entire summer in panic mode trying to convince LeBron to stay? Here's what I think is going to happen. I think Ayton is gone. He doesn't pick up that option, or the Lakers find a way to move on. I think the Lakers go hard after a real center this summer. Somebody who can defend the rim, somebody with actual playoff experience. I think they upgrade the wing depth. I think they bring in one more veteran shooter. And I think they get on the phone with LeBron's camp and they tell him exactly what the plan is before that June 29th deadline. Because if they don't, if they let him sit there with that $52 million option and no clear vision, he is walking, and he might be walking to a team you absolutely don't want him walking to. Laker Nation, comment below. Tell me, do you think LeBron stays or does he leave? Do you blame DA for the sweep, or is this on the front office? And the biggest question of all, if LeBron leaves, is this still Luka's team to lead into a championship era? Smash that like, hammer that subscribe, ring that bell, and share this with every single Lakers fan you know, because this offseason is about to be the most chaotic, most consequential offseason in modern Lakers history. We ride together, Laker Nation, always. Purple and gold forever.